Sai Ram. I still remember the day as vividly as if it was yesterday. I was sitting at my system and completing a project at Radio Sai Global Harmony where I used to work when my phone began to ring. It was a call from my wife Pooja, and when I picked it, she sounded excited or fearful or maybe both. She just said, "Arvind, can you come home?" Yes, what happened? Can you come home immediately? I will tell you, please come home fast. And she cut the call. Now I became a bit nervous, got up from my place, walked out of the studio, in fact ran out of the studio, sat on my bike. My home was not far away, it was just 3 minutes away by bike from the studio, but I reached home within 2 minutes. I reached the building, went up to the 5th floor in the lift, and I saw that the main door was partially open. I pushed the door, entered, and there was Pooja, sitting as if she had seen a ghost. I asked her what happened, and she just pointed out to the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra book, this book, exactly this book, which was beside her. I went closer and saw that the book was open, and on the page on the right, there was a complete layer of vibhuti. So I was pleasantly surprised, and it feels nice, right, to see vibhuti. I asked her what happened. What she told me just took my breath away. The Shri Sai Satcharitra is a Parayanam Grantha. What do I mean by that? This is a book that is utilized by devotees as a means to assist them in their sadhana of contemplating on and meditating on the feet of Shirdi Sai. For 1 week long, a Saptaham as it is called, they read this book in equal parts such that at the end of 7 days they have completed one reading of the entire book. And during these 7 days of the week, they undertake many austerities, including fasting for the whole day and eating only once, and that too they will eat only sattvic food. They will sleep only on the floor, and they will talk very less. They will try to keep their mind saturated with thoughts of God and keep chanting the name of God. And it is believed that when you do like this is called one Parayanam or one reading. You can, pray for something that is closest in your heart, and Shirdi Baba will grant it to you. That is the firm belief of the people who do this sadhana. In fact, as they grow doing this sadhana, they believe that they need not even desire for anything because Baba knows what is best to give. So they just do it as a sadhana. And my wife Pooja was or is a big believer in this Sai Satcharitra Parayana sadhana. And she used to do this regularly. In fact, I remember the first time I witnessed her doing this after our marriage at my home in Puttaparthi, when on the 7th day she invited all of us to do Aarti. We did Aarti to Shirdi Baba, and she offered Shira to Shirdi Baba as Naivedyam, which we would later consume as Prasadam. Minutes later, on this Shira, on this sweet, Vibhuti had manifested. When I saw this, I was thrilled, no doubt, but I personally had never felt an inclination to do a Parayanam or read the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra, because I felt that by doing so, I would become disloyal to my dear Swami. There is so much to read about Swami. Why should I read about Shirdi Baba? Yes, I have regard for him, I have respect for him, and Swami has said that he himself had come as Shirdi Baba, but my love is for the name and form of Swami, right? So I had never done a Shirdi Satcharitra Parayanam. Now this was the second time or the third time Pooja was doing, and she said that at the end of every chapter there is a sentence that comes, Bo to Shri Sai, peace be to all. At that time you're supposed to just say a short prayer, meditate on Shirdi Baba, and then proceed to the next chapter. So even as Pooja was reading the end of one chapter, she just saw that bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all, and she closed her eyes and she opened it, and lo and behold, on the next page there was a layer of vibhuti which had just manifested right before her eyes. Even as she was opening, she saw it manifesting. And that had, it was a positive shock, but it was such a powerful experience that she didn't know what to do. She just came out, told it to my mother, and then she called me and said, Arvind, come home. And that was the miracle that had happened. A lot of people also do what is known as a group parayanam or a group sadhana of the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra. How is it done? Whether there are 10 or 15 or 20 members in a group, they decide to divide the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra into equal portions, and each of them reads that particular portion, so that as a group in one single day they have completed the entire Shirdi Sai Satcharitra. Of course, the next time they may exchange the portions so that everybody gets to read different portions. So this is also something that is done, and that reminds me of a very interesting experience of Sister Purna. She is a classmate of my wife Pooja, and she narrated how when she was pregnant carrying her baby, she decided to do this Shirdi Sai Satcharitra Parayanam, group Parayanam. So on a Thursday, everybody on WhatsApp would get their allocated portion and they had to read it. Now, as was her practice, she used to do this so sincerely. She had decided to fast that day, but then the baby inside needed nourishment and nutrition, and her mother had also told her that no, you should not fast. You do the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra Parayan, but don't do fasting. Now Purna was in a kind of fix. She was wondering whether I should violate what I have been doing all this while in my life, or I should just obey what my mother is saying and it's okay, this is a special circumstance and therefore I will not fast. She had not yet decided what she would do when the allocated chapters came. Interestingly, she had been allocated chapter number 32, and even as she opened that chapter, there is a portion about fasting and Mrs. Gokhale. In that, Shirdi Baba tells that I will not allow my children to go hungry on festival days, on times when there are celebrations. How can they go hungry when me, the mother and father, is there? And therefore, Mrs. Gokhale, who has travelled and come to Shirdi, and in order to win Shirdi Baba's love and grace, has decided to fast, Shirdi Baba summons her and tells her, go home, make some puran polis, which is like wheat rotis, with a sweet filling inside, which is made of jaggery. So make puran polis and eat. And now imagine, in a coincidence, this very chapter is allocated to Purna, who, interestingly, the filling inside the Puran Poli is called Purna also. What a connection, right? Purna gets to read about the Purna in a Puran Poli which says that you should not fast when she is wondering whether she should fast or not. Wow, was she thrilled? She definitely didn't fast. She definitely didn't fast and did her Parayana Satsang. After hearing to many such experiences, once I decided that let me also read the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra completely end to end for a week, and I divided the number of chapters each day that I had to read. When you do it, you will have to spend at least 45 minutes to an hour every day reading this book. Well, I did not do the other things, the fasting part or any other austerity. I just would read this book. Even as I started reading the book, the thoughts that kept coming in my mind, I'm just being candid over here. I felt, hey, this book could be much better written. The grammar is bad in so many places. The choice of words are not so nice. And I felt that, maybe if I think of rewriting it, it'll be a little better. It can read better. And the way the story is built in some places, the suspense is revealed even much before. In the heading only you have told fasting and Mrs. Gokhale. Like, I already know what the story will be about. Where is the suspense? So, from an intellectual point of view, as a critic, I went on critiquing the book. I just kept thinking it could be done better. And I felt, what? Swami's experiences are so amazing compared to Shirdi Baba's. That's why I don't read it. It's okay. Anyway, I've started it. Let me read it this time. This went on. I read it on day 1, day 2, day 3. I just went through it as a rote. And I possibly had decided that I will never read that Shirdi Sai Satcharitra again, because it's okay for those who believe and have great confidence and faith in it. Let them do. I am happy with my Swami stories. Dear brothers and sisters, the seventh day came. It was supposed to be the final day, and I thought that I'll complete it in the morning. I'll just finish reading it before I go to studio. So I read it and then did the aarti. Pooja had prepared the prasadam. I did not prepare. She prepared it. We offered it to Baba, and she asked me, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Yeah, same as any other day. That's all it is." And I left for Radio Sai. As I reached the studio, something began to happen within. I can't explain it, but the symptoms of that were that I was feeling overwhelmed with everything. I was simply remembering Swami. I have read about Shirdi Baba, but I am remembering Swami. I'm remembering Swami, and even as I remember Swami, I'm getting tears in my eyes. I'm just spontaneously crying, feeling so light in my heart, feeling so happy in my heart. I met Brother Prem Anush, and he asked me, "Hey, what happened? You're looking different." I said, I just finished Shirdi Sai Satcharitra Parayana, and Prem, I broke down. I broke down in front of him, and he's, "What happened?" "I don't know." And I just became silent. I decided not to speak. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it was 4 hours had passed, it was lunchtime. That experience continued. That particular day was saturated, filled with Swami. I had not done this Shirdi Sai Satcharitra with any worldly or materialistic objective that I want to achieve this and therefore I am reading. I just felt that I am reading it, and if there are any benefits, let it help in me increasing my love for Swami. And I must confess, dear brothers and sisters, so much surge of love towards Swami I began to feel even as I completed it on that 7th day. It's an unbelievable experience and unforgettable. Ever since then, wherever I go, I always have this Shirdi Sai Satcharitra close to me. I have greatest regard for Shirdi Sai Baba, and the most beautiful thing after all of this, I felt that, dear Swami, everybody has goals in their life, right? Here is my ambition for my life. Just as Hemad Pant is known for telling the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra, grant me the blessing, Swami, that I become your storyteller. I want to tell your stories. Teach me how to tell the stories. And even as I said this, I once again opened the Shirdi Satcharitra to bow down to it for this beautiful experience, and it opened up exactly in this page. Mr. Madhavrao Deshpande, also called as Hemad Pant by Shirdi Baba, says that when he asked Shirdi Baba for permission to write about him, Shirdi Baba says, "Let him make a collection of stories and experiences, keep notes and memos. I will help him. He is only an outward instrument. I will write my autobiography myself, satisfying the wishes of my devotees. I shall enter into him and shall myself write my own life. Hearing my stories and teachings will create faith in devotees' hearts, and they will easily get self-realization and bliss." May I always be grateful for this opportunity to share your stories, to share your Satcharitra. Dear brothers and sisters, it's an experience that has to be experienced. Just try it out, because honestly, I didn't do it with any love or devotion or anything like that. I just did it mechanically. But the amount of love, the amount of devotion that has been poured into the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra by Hemad Pant and by the millions and millions and millions of devotees who regularly read it, we will be able to get and experience a touch of that devotion and love. It's amazing. Dear Baba, let me bow down at your feet and pray to you that my love for you, our love for you, keep increasing every passing moment, and may our lives be a story in your Satcharitra. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.